Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL North America Challenger League qualifiers number 5. I'm Intrinsic, and tonight I'm going to be joined by Cash, and then observing for us tonight will be Sino. I have checked with him, but I am terrible at his name. How you doing, at Cash?
I am living it up. How about yourself?
I'm doing A-okay. I'm ready to get into this. It's our inaugural ESL cast. It's going to be a good time for both of us. Let's switch over to game. Here we go.
Absolutely. So this will be my first ESL cast ever. I'm familiar with your community caster underneath their ranks.
Yes. So I got that a little bit like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I haven't been able to actually get into cast. So it's going to be the first one in Challenger League qualifier number 5, getting in right at the end. But we will be on Clubhouse and we'll be going right into the ban phase.
Absolutely. A Maverick coming on out. Nothing too surprising. Probably going to see a Thatcher, quite fathomably, Capitao, and if not Jackal, for the pick there, as that's been an NA favorite overall and a consistent pick, as it's a strong amount of utility, I think, across the board for all three ops. You've got the EMPs, you have I call it trackling just for the sake of it, and it's gonna be Thatcher coming on out.
Yeah, what do you think of these attacker bans, which are something that we're seeing a little more commonly? And it seems here we're just trying to contest opening up either of the walls or hatches with the electric. Um, or the counter electric operators.
So honestly, it's surprising to me that, well, when the Maverick trick came out, put two lines, and in between them the reinforced wall will then in turn become soft. It's surprising to me that Ubisoft decided to keep it in game. It is now a portion of strats. It has been kept within the meta. So him being, totally obtainable of his goal, regardless if there's an electro claw. For example, Cade is now banned, or mute jammer or bandit charge. I think is immense, and it does increase the skill gap. In attacking strats or counter stratting, if you will, as to how teams can go about their entry.
Yeah, and we will be going to church first, which is widely considered one of the better map or better sites on this clubhouse. What do you think we're going to be seeing coming out from this side of Red Platoon Gaming, which I don't even think we mentioned the teams. We have University of Akron versus Red Platoon Gaming, which is a massive injustice to both of these teams, who in the 5th qualifier are still going strong, trying to make it into the closed qualifiers for the chance of making it into the actual Season 11 Challenger League. So both of these teams are not something to scoff at, as we are seeing a pretty standard lineup from all of them.
I do like the fact that you see already there's vertical play being brought in with a Buck. CJ is on Buck. You have two hard breachers. Of course, the third one, overall is banned. And then you do see the Capitao. Whenever Capitao gets involved, I know that entry or execution strats are taken a little bit more seriously for whatever roster we see him on. Especially if utilized correctly, of course. It's one thing to pick an op and it's another to actually use them. I think we're going to see from RPG a little bit more on the aggressor side. I mean, you have Jaeger, Mozzie, Bandit. Bandit is not going to have anything to Bandit trick. There's nothing for the batteries to actually go on, and you're going to want to stay in the area. Mozzie's just going to act as a mute, probably playing vertical holds. So this gives defenders a lot of mobility, especially in their rotates and playing for life situations.
Yeah, and while we do see the double hard breach coming out for the attacking side of Akron, what do you expect to see in terms of countering this, as they do have the bandit on defense, which is something that we do see at least on the church wall, but they don't really have anything to contest. Do you think we're going to be seeing a roam to try to counter the hatches from being opened?
I believe so, 100%. That's why, you got Mozzie with the shotgun upstairs. We see kind of a triple threat push here from the attackers as of right now. As Sophia's entering a certain portion, Capitao's entering a different portion, Buck, all three of them are entering in and trying to really, constrict any depth roamers. And we do see Mozzie picks up a drone himself with the first pest. CJ is going to be holding on cash room into construction, and they're gonna try to get this clear going. A second drone will fall to him. It's kind of unfortunate, but information will be relayed on out, in the first entry elimination will fall. That will be Mozzie off the board. Red will no longer be able to use I mean, the pest came into play there. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to do too much, but I think that was the only roamer RPG had on their line.
Yeah, which means they're going to be able to get these hatches open furthermore uncontested because there's really nobody to contest them. The only thing we might see is Elysian going for the impact trick, but at this point, these level of teams are able to kind of counter that or try to contest Elysian playing an Arsenal, which we will most likely see as the buck is left on the board after the first gunfight with Red.
Absolutely. Now, Taco's getting burned running through the fire and flames. He takes about half HP worth of damage. Excellent utility usage from Surma. That's going to be a lot of map domination for them. Seed's already in Church Closet, taking some damage, will be brought down to a quarter health. A lot of the attacking operators, or two of which, are sitting as low HP. I think that's the Buck that's injured from a Guma, and Surma will rotate to pick up CJ. We approach the last 50 seconds of the round. The attackers and defenders right next to each other as they're pushing the rotates on into sight. Surma's going to be wide peeking on into Church. No successful eliminations. However, Cheeks will tear him apart. Seats will pick up his second kill of the round. That's Tacos that will fall. And it's all up to the Legion in a 1v4. Now, in one-on-one engagements, he has the HP to kind of pull things on through. He will take out CJ. He won't see the one next to him in boxes. Comes on up, and Akron will take it out with a knife.
I'm not quite sure what we just saw there, but it is one of those ultimate disrespects in this game, getting knifed, and it's not something that many people live down, but it doesn't seem that the Zofia even has an attachment on her secondary, which is not something we see very often, as the secondaries make the weapons a little more optimal. But we did see something from CJ that I do want to bring up, is this Buck, who was not able to get one, but two picks with very low HP. Very early in the round, he got into... we got into a gunfight with the Mozzie. And while the Mozzie lost out, CJ was sitting about 1 HP, and then coming down blue stairs, I think gave him a little more HP for the gunfight into Legion. And of course, CJ was able to get a pick on a Maestro, but the Legion was just a little too much, as he was able to get the pick onto the Buck, but unable to see that Sophia was sitting right there as well, and he will get knifed for it.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be... Already I'm seeing some cleaning up RPG has to do. Maybe it was just, getting out first round shutters and whatnot, but it was kind of one and done for the roamers, and it gave nothing but Akron just a huge amount of map establishment, nothing but time on their side. Information was being relayed appropriately. Really didn't see a huge amount of disconnects in their push overall. They took it step by step. They flowed top to bottom, and everything looked to be executed as exactly as how they wanted it to fold on out.
Yeah, and what we're seeing now is Lime playing underneath the moment with the Bandit. Do we expect to see him, as he goes back up, to use his C4 vertically at all? Or do you think he's just going to be playing upstairs and maybe even getting picked in the course of him trying to Bandit trick the wall?
I think he's going to play for bandit tricking as much as possible, but if the wall drops, you need to be able to contest it. Having that C4, having that information underneath is going to be substantial. But we already see CJ kind of going on into stock here, being drawn on in, and Pulse will fall. He gets the first elimination of the round. That's it. He gets a second one, and what an excellent shot. That's Tacos now off the board already with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. It's a 5v3. Uncontested on Red stairs. He will be peaked. Red will get some shots off and injure him, and that will stop the entry from even pushing more damage onto RPG at the moment. But a lot of map has been established. A lot of ground is being covered right now. Seats is going to be taking on over in couches, and CCTV window will be opened on up. Bandit will not be able to bandit trick, it seems to be.
Yeah, and what we saw there was the vertical control completely lost from the side of Red Platoon, as the sledge of CJ coming in and able to get another 2-pick, which is the second time in a row that he's been able to do that. And that pretty much means that there's no more bandit trick on the board, as Surma able to get a pick on a Lime, and that'll definitely mean that there's no more bandit tricks, as now he's going to be using his bolts to cut off the rotations into catwalks, but as Bus Seat's able to get a pick on a Cheeks, it'll be the Maestro off the board, and it's all up to Hyperion, who was able to get a pick earlier now, and the diffuser going down right in the wrong position, able to get shots out, but goes with the C4, able to get 1-1 coming up middle stairs now, not looking the right way, as Hyperion able to get the triple kill. He is going to have to get the ace if he wins this, but at the moment he's in good position. As he goes underneath now, he's probably going to be playing in the default spot, so all he's got to do is go for the shotgun. And he's going to be shotgunning in the wrong spot, though. The diffuser going down from Akron, that is Very unfortunate as Hyperion not shooting at the right spots, meaning that the plant will go down, and now he's going to have 2 players to go in, and not even catching one off as Own, able to get a very easy pick onto the Mute, who was just kind of wandering aimlessly at that point.
Absolutely, a good execution there. A little bit of just kind of miscoordination there from Akron trying to get the plant down overall. I don't know if the droning kind of stopped once getting onto site, or if it was a sense of overconfidence. But it looked to be as if they got the utility down and just wanted to run and get the round on over with, thus causing three of their bodies to fall at the time. But CJ just running on in, getting those bodies early on. No pulse underneath with the nitro, no Jaeger. They have to worry about the late game or late execution flank. What huge and monumentous eliminations very early on into the round. It gives you the momentum to kind of follow on through. And then Bandit, of course, going on out. That's another nitro, no longer. I think overall that line had 3 C4s, and that's nothing but plant denial. If say the Maestro were to fall, or nothing's on, nothing's equipped to help your plant denial.
Yeah, and you mentioned momentum just slightly there, and on the momentum side, we do see Akron now with 2 rounds, which is something that we don't normally see coming out in such a dominant half on the side of the offense on Clubhouse, just due to the fact that it's widely considered a more defensive-sided map. And with the Maverick Thatcher ban, I must agree wholeheartedly, just because that's a pretty big part of your attack is trying to get these walls open, and if you don't have those 2 operators, it becomes monumentally harder.
Absolutely. I mean, not having that utility on the board, not having those bodies with the line at the time it's a lot to overcome. It really is. And we do see a site repeat. Now, of course, they've lost the 2 primary sites that are played on these maps so far. So they're gonna have to be correcting some of their path here. They need to fix what is becoming their dismay. Now, of course, adaptability, the ability to compromise, it's all going to play a huge role as we progress through these rounds. But already a repeat site, you're 2-0 on a map that's very defender oriented, and you're going the traditional sites. But the first elimination will be Zofia. Not a huge amount of utility, but that is the stuns, that is the soft vertical breach. We have Papi and Tacos playing off one another, and Surma will now fall. Tacos picking up a second for the round so far, and now that Sledge, we kind of see a reverse of what happened previous round. It's now a 2v5. Cheeks might be able to pick up one here. It's a bit of a peak battle, and the Fuser will fall. That's Joseph losing the Fuser, and it's all up to the Habana.
Yeah, it's Red Platoon now on the precipice of a flawless round, and yes, they will secure it. Red Platoon completely sweeping in reverse the momentum we saw in the last 2 rounds. Akron able to secure 2 rounds, immediately answered, though, in the third with a flawless from Red Platoon.
So speaking of cleaning up what needed to work on, I think that right there was what we needed to see. We saw communication flowing between the Pulse and the Jaeger. We saw the initial eliminations, the punishing for not having a support as your secondary fragger or as the refragger in those scenarios, and it was nothing but a frag fest for Red Platoon there.
Yeah, and they pretty much secured the exact thing that they needed to clean up, and it was very well done by them. The cross is being held both by Papi on the Pulse as well as Tacos on the Jaeger, meaning that both of the players were able to secure the kills that they needed to, as well as being able to secure any flanks that might come in from Akron. But now that we go into the 4th round, we'll be going back to Church, a site that we did see go very poorly for Red Platoon in the 1st round. And what do you think that they're going to have to clean up in order to secure this round?
For Red Platoon, I think they're going to need another body off site, or they're going to need bodies to play off one another. The anchor seems very, very misaligned, for lack of better words. They just were not on the same page when the entries into site was occurring, and the execution, especially early phases, was happening. It seemed like as if they wanted the peak. They didn't trust the utility, the traps, goo mines, evil eyes, whatever was still on board. They really weren't depending on it, and it was more on whatever was in their hands at the time. I think as just a direct counter to Akron's push, it's going to need to be flexibility. I mean, the Mozzie stuck to logistics, and if you're not going to move out of logistics, you may not want to wide peek the Buck who opened up from construction.
Yeah, we do see the Mozzie now playing first floor towards Strip, and you did bring something up that I kind of just want to mention, and I brought it up in a past broadcast for another league, and I think it was the minimum effective redundancy, which is basically whether or not, as I have Origin just deciding that they want to be a pain. Rather, the minimum effective redundancy, meaning that if you have one roamer, you might want to have a second one, just so that you can cover each other and effectively secure any refrag that might come out if you do lose a roamer. And speaking of losing a roamer, we will see a very early pick from bus seats coming out on the Ash, which as an entry fragger is something you want to see. And the two roles that are kind of matched up is the entry fragger and the roamer. So we do see that Akron is able to edge out in this gunfight, and they will be in a man advantage coming into the last half of the round. As now Busty's going to be opening up into this hallway, trying to get an early pick, but nobody's going to be foolish enough to play that. They have droned out the Jaeger, though, in blue, meaning that they are going to have to push out a very strong position from Red Platoon.
Absolutely. Mozzie off the board, that is also a Nitro, so kind of countering the execution map establishment is going to be more and more difficult. There is still another on board. The goo mines are going to go off. That's going to signify the location of where the attackers are pushing from. Tacos, we see rotate back on into Church. That's a lot of map establishment losses. They can now push on into blue. Joseph will punish, and now it's a 5v3, but RPG saying they're not out of this just yet. We'll get the elimination onto Ash. We'll get picked off just a little bit. Jackal will complete that, and that's Surma and CJ finishing out the round for Akron.
Very well done from Akron there, and what we saw there was them pretty much isolating all of the players. For example, the most potent one, at least in my eyes, was the Bandit playing close in Church, like near the Moto hatch. And what we saw is that as soon as he was able to get a pick, which was unfortunate from Busty's as he did get a little too close, and he lost his life to that position. But at that point, they knew exactly where the Bandit was at, and they were able to isolate it from blue and from Moto. And we saw the Thermite, who was playing above and bar at the Moto hatch, was able to get a few shots off onto Lime, I believe it was on the Bandit. So very well isolating the players from Red Platoon. And now they're going to be going to Gym, which is the site that we don't normally see. But Busty's going with 5 kills at the moment, followed exactly with the same number by CJ, and that'll be the Buck player who we did see get two Ks in a row, but only securing 1 frag in the following 2 rounds, which is a little unfortunate. But at the end of the day, you can only do what you're able to do, and if everybody else is getting the frags, you can't really get them as well. So we will do see Gym now. So kind of walk us through what we expect to see on Gym.
So Gym, it's a given that Jacuzzi Wall is going to be the first attempt from especially the hard breachers. Exothermic charges, X-Kyroses, even a blowtorch. That is the first objective of whatever hard breacher you have on that line, unless it's a rush play, but of course then that's voided. And then you generally see an alternate push from either logistics or Gym leading on to CC and cash. So it's kind of a split push, but once that wall is open, a lot of utility gets pushed on and out. Smokes, candelas, gridlock stingers, air jabs, anything of that nature to kind of prevent flanks, rotates, especially in such a tight proximity. We're going to see a lot of one-on-one engagements. Whether or not they go in the way of the attackers, defenders is going to vary upon, positioning and HP advantage, but Jacuzzi Wall is what I'm expecting to see, and honestly, a castle is always brought. It's just a safe pick for this site.
And I'm not quite sure if it's actually a position anymore, but there was at one point a Capital Bolt where if like you shot a bullet hole, you could put the Capital Bolt right above the Jacuzzi wall, and it would basically eliminate any player that was close on that wall. But we do see a CCTV push first. It's going to be Hyperion on the Alibi, trying to get really aggressive. He is droned out, though, and the cross being held from construction window. Busty's able to secure the pick, and that'll be the CCTV hold already off the board within a minute of the round. Very well done by them, but the next contestant is going to be coming from Tacos on the Jaeger playing logistics.
One excellent, I think, split push there and hold. It was great communication. It was, honestly, that's the kind of cross you want to see. That's the roam clear that it was simplistic yet necessary and overall just effective. So we see soft roaming, nothing too deep. No one on underneath with a nitro getting ready to kind of counter this push on from construction. They know the direction Akron is headed in, and RPG's not really doing too much to counter it. But in the position that they're in, there's not going to be a whole lot that they can do. Popping that mirror window open is going to be huge. That's going to watch on into bathroom, but Tacos will fall for doing so. Seats will pick up seconds, but a refrag will happen from Cheeks. He, however, himself will fall, and it's all up to Bandit. He's at 100 HP. Winning one-on-one engagements is possible, but he's in close proximity to the Jackal, who will close it on out.
And that'll be the 4th round coming in the favor of Akron, which is a very dominant performance on the attacking half of Clubhouse. They pretty much already secured what we would call a good half, and if they're able to go 5-1, that'll be an outstanding half for an attack on Clubhouse, especially with the bans that we're seeing now. And I did mention them earlier, so I won't go back into it. So what confuses me, though, is that the Castle was able to do a lot of work playing Master Bedroom, even though Akron was holding the Mira in Logistics office. That's what I don't understand, because he's right there in front of you, but it took you've lost a player there when you basically just had to look and see that the Castle was there. So I'm not quite sure what exactly happened there. Maybe it was just too slow of reaction time, or just unfortunate timing, because it does happen. But I do want to see that timing a little bit pushed a little bit closer from the side of Akron. And they're already doing very well, so it's one of those things that's like you're complaining against somebody who's winning, but hey, you can only get better, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think right now, RPG's main goal should be to, shocker, should be to win the round and try to finish 4-2. It's not an
just
awful
win
half
forehead.
on defenders. If Akron gets 5-1 advantage on a defender-oriented map, that's huge. That's a lot of momentum, and it looks to be as if they've already, cleaned up what caused them to lose the first round. It looked to be as if their communication is clear, crystal. I'm not seeing a whole lot of downfalls in their executions, in their pushes, their roam clearing. It's all very methodical, not overpaced. They're really playing to their own advantage and their strong suits. But when taking a 4-2 wouldn't be a huge loss to them, but it'd be enough of a morale booster for RPG here.
That was an interesting use of the Ash utility there, as he pretty much just shot it to see if he can get some of the HP off of the Maestro there. Now the Hibana hole is being opened up. Might actually catch the Maestro, who's playing really aggressive on the garage door, but it doesn't appear that anything's going to come out after a few seconds of them being open. And as I say that, it'll be CJ getting one on a Pappy as well as Busty's adding on for Tacos. That'd be the Pulse and the Jaeger off the board, who we did see in round number 3 become such a problem that Akron was unable to secure the round now. But Lime playing in construction might also be a boon in the side of this attack, just because he's in a position to contest this, as Cheeks able to get a pick onto Surma, meaning it'll get a little bit closer in a 4v3 now, but the HP solidly in the favor of Akron, as Onyx able to get a pick onto Cheeks. That'll be the Maestro off the board, leaving it in a 2v4.
Absolutely. Here we have Lime just sitting on behind bomb, holding a kind of a tight angle there through the rotate hole. Some shots will be exchanged, and he will eliminate Seats. It's now a 2v3, trying to push the body advantage in their way. Onyx not taking any HP damage. We see the Thermite trying to get the diffuser on down. The first Nitro will go on out. I believe there's still a secondary one, but Red will be taken off guard. Lime getting a second kill of the round. It's a 1v2. It is all up to him to close on out. Now, Akron does successfully get the diffuser on down. They're bringing around servers, but CJ will close out the round.
And that was a very good round from CJ on the Buck, just kind of being in the positions that you weren't expecting him. He was able to catch one, just playing in, or at the top of Blue Stairs, which is Janitor. I think it was at one point called Adam, just because Adam, who was playing on SK at the time, got an ace. But in that room, pretty much at the top of Blue Stairs, he was able to just swing out and get the Mute, who was playing at the bottom of Metal Stairs. And a bit of a scuffed gunfight, as both players missing their shots, at least in the first part of the gunfight. But it was CJ able to secure the kill, and eventually able to secure, I believe, 3 kills on the round, making a 5-1 split in the favor of the University of Akron, as they are going to be going into the defensive half now.
Absolutely. If we see this kind of coordination and methodical, advances from Akron, as we did see on the attacking side, I think it's going to be very much so in their favor for the map. But RPG, it might just be how they play on the defending side for the map. of course, it's we say I don't like to use stats, of course, but we know the day can matter. We know the attitude. There's so many factors that play into performance. You don't want to just put your thumb on one variable when there's a whole entire equation. So I want to see RPG pick it up and get some more rounds on the board.
And I just want to take a moment to shout out our wonderful observer who's been keeping me honest this entire time. I think it's Ciano. I think I have it. If not, I'll correct it in the second map. It'll be A-okay. But he told me that the Ash charge that I brought up a little bit earlier was to get rid of the mute devices on the garage wall. So just a good use of utility overall to get rid of the mute charges on the garage wall. And also he did show us that CJ and Bus Seats are tied for top fragging at the moment, both sitting at 8 frags apiece. And now Bus Seats is going to be promoted to Doc, just trying to contest this garage door. It is going to get way more aggressive than I would say is wise at this point, as it is a CCTV hold, meaning that you can just pretty much play back and play vertical, and you'll pretty much have it secured. Although he is just millimeters away from catching one, but it is just going to be a claymore placed down at the doorway. So if he gets out, is he just going to run out into the claymore?
Yeah, he can overstim and he can run on out at tacos. That's Thermite.
Holy
that no longer
moly,
will be on the board.
Dude. That'll be
and I don't think they got an exothermic charge off.
I think you might have gotten one there, because I think that does look like the exothermic charge
hold. Oh, okay.
But not onto the CCTV wall, which is the one that you need open. So it is going to have to be a construction take if I was willing to place money on it, and I hope at this point that Akron reads into that and starts rotating their bandit around, because if they can put the bandits on the construction wall, they're in Legion, just peeking his head, Cheeks unable to get the pick though, firing in but not securing anything. It's going to be now... Bus Seats, rather, still very lit on HP. He is a Doc, though, but he doesn't have any stim pistols, so he's going to be chilling at about 5 HP.
Say a little constricted on the HP advantage there, or disadvantage rather, but RPG rotating well, using what map establishment they have to their advantage. But we have 3 bodies in construction. Looks to be as Akron is just playing as tightly as humanly possible right now. As no one's really in-depth roaming. Cheeks will be peaked and brought down to the same HP that Doc was sitting at currently, and it's going to be kind of a peek off between the reinforcement at red. I say that Seats will eliminate him as well. It's a 2-body advantage in the way of Akron at the moment. However, with the Doc being on such low HP, it can go quickly to 4. Poppy's going to be taking on some damage. It's now a 3-body advantage as Poppy will fall, and Juicy picks up his first kill of the round. Some shots again exchanged. Quite the angle the Legion here is holding.
The Legion and CCTV is putting the weight, or putting the work in rather, as Hyperion just rushing up the metal stairs. Is going to get one, but unable to get the second, as CJ, who went very big in the attacking half, is going to still be putting up some numbers on defense, as well as Bus Seat. So they're both probably going to be neck and neck for this top fragger spot.
Absolutely. I think that was I think Buck's push there gave them some hope at the end. I was really all about it, that red flank late execution, or late round, especially when all defenders are anchors and they're aiming at only one kind of doorway and trying to get a bottleneck going on. I had some hope for it, but honestly, I what was that, it was a 1v4 after he eliminated the Buck, or not the Buck, sorry, the Doc.
Yeah, it was a 1v4, and the Bandit and Legion, who were putting the work in at the end, were still on the board in CCTV. So whether he went up metal stairs or went down metal stairs, he was going to get fragged either way. It was either by the Jaeger or the players going huge in CCTV. So very unfortunate for the Buck, as he is unable to really do much, though. And what is interesting in terms of operator picks is CJ going to be on the smoke. And a player who's been doing as well as him, we normally see on a little more aggressive as an operator. And the reason why you don't want to play smoke very aggressive is because his smoke canisters are vital if you're trying to play a time wasting. Because if you have 30 seconds left in the round, you can pretty much cut off an entire rotation just by using your smokes. So I don't expect the smoke to be aggressive, but we have seen aggressive smokes in the past.
Absolutely. The SMG in the right player's hands can be just absolutely devastating, but that's your plant denial. It can waste time. It stops map establishment almost immediately because of the HP that it does damage to. I mean, possessing 3 canisters honestly is a lot, and you hate to see a smoke die very early on, because that is unfortunately just so much going on down.
Yeah, and right now we're on the precipice of the match as it is going to be University of Akron sitting on match point with only, or potentially 2 minutes and 32 seconds away from winning the first match in the North American Challenger League qualifiers number 5. This, of course, being the last open qualifiers until we get to the tournament. Every point is going to be crucial to these teams if they want to make it. But as Taco's able to get the stock hatch, and it is going to be interesting because Poppy is able to get a pick onto Bussy, who is the Vigil playing in catwalks, meaning that it is going to be a mana advantage in the favor of Red Platoon, rather, but there is still somebody playing vertically.
Absolutely. However, will lose his second fight to Surma, keeping the vertical play intact as much as humanly possible. I say that, and Red will be right there on the refrag. Great positioning, good use of the skeleton key to kind of hold off that just mid-round rotate. No other roamer seems to be kind of on the immediate contestant because there's only 3 bodies remaining. It looks to be as a kind of flip in the number of bodies we're used to seeing, especially with these 2 teams. But 100 HP on all remaining operators, all the one-on-one engagements, did not take any from the remaining operators. But with a minute 25 at match point here, there is a lot to be lost here for RPG. I say that, and another body will get. That's gonna be the furry smoke. CJ will fall. So
Yes,
that's Cheeks picking up. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you, but it is going to be a 2v4 as we continue until the last minute of this round. But as Joseph on the Legion is going to go down, Cheeks able to secure the pick. It is going to be a 1v4 now. Cheeks on the double kill is going to be all up to Onyx, who is going to be contesting the main stairs. Is able to see 1, but now they know exactly where he is. The Capital going to get a little too aggressive, though. That'll be line off the board. Onyx with 2, though, and that'll be now just a little bit closer into this match being over, but it is a 1v2 close plant scenario as Onyx with the Ulta, which is a very scary weapon to be going against. He's going to be moving into blue. Is going to catch 1 out. That is now a 1v1 now. Onyx is going to get the quad kill. If he wins it, he is going to see the Thermite's head, but he is not able to get the pick. And Red Platoon securing it in what was a nail-biter of a round. And Tacos is saying, no, sir, this round is mine. And he is going to keep his team in this for 1 more round at least.
Absolutely, that could have been devastating and end match. So, what an excellent play from the Maestro overall. But say valiant effort in a devastating closeout to that round. I'm sure RPG is feeling much better after taking that win. It was a good execution. They got into sight overall fairly fast. That they were able to recover after taking out the depth roamer and getting the vertical plays on their side. Just seems to be as if position-wise they could have chosen a little bit stronger of angles to hold, and a little bit more information could have been relayed. It seemed to be as if they just did not know where the Maestro was going to peak from next.
And as our observer was showing us, Cheeks is going to be sitting on 7 kills, leading his team in frags, which we did see last round was very efficient, although he was picked off. And a little bit of an off angle as the Maestro was able to rotate away into blue, so he was a little bit on a flank. But on the side of Akron, we are going to see Bus Seats on 10 frags, which he is going to be in double digits, the first player to achieve that honor in this round. And we will be going back to church. And what do you expect to see different from what we saw last round to this round for University of Akron?
I think we're going to see more bodies playing vertical plays. I mean, we do have an Ella. Gersmots are violent to handle, and now that the Scorpion has gotten its recent buff, making it more capable and launchable. But with Scorpion and particularly the right hands can be devastating, especially to a faulty roam clear. There is a Jaeger and a Mozzie, so shallow roamers, depth roamers, vertical play is I think going to be stronger overall if they are looking to close it out here.
Yeah, and what we're seeing this time is a little bit more of a vertical clear, I feel, as it's going to be Dirt opened up very early in the round by Habana, and what we saw last time from him was a very dominant performance on the operator. So I do expect to see him to maintain that success, although I hope that this Ella pick, who was recently buffed very well, so her Scorpion is almost to pre-nerf, like heyday of Ella. So she's still a very scary operator to be going against, and someone who can very easily hold the top floor if Red Platoon is not careful, but it is going to be the Bug just sitting outside on Jacuzzi. He might have actually seen him on Drone, but no HP is going to be off as Busty's still going to be alive. And CJ just thinking about running out. He is so close to doing it. He's just hoping that somebody is foolish enough to try to contest him, though. The first pick is going to go to CJ. That'll be Cheeks off the board. The top fragger from Red Platoon is going to be out for this potential last round of the map.
Absolutely, that's huge, getting the entry off the board. Seats with a quick follow-up. That's Buck. That's the vertical plays. Nades no longer at you. So I think in saying that there's going to be more roamers, more support from one another, and playing vertical as possible is going to be the truth here for Akron at the moment. And I think it was just a lot of map establishment that they didn't know what to do with. I mean, opening up dirt, but then pushing Jacuzzi and trying to get a hold in gym while two bodies are in garage. Not a whole lot of coordination from here. Seats demonstrating a good amount of trigger restraint as he will eliminate the Capital and closing in on the Thermite in Oil Pit at the moment. He might be able to close out the round right here. That's Thermite that will fall. He sees the Nomad, just barely misses his shot, will engage some, connects, he's down to a quarter health, and it will close out the game.
A flawless round, no less, from the University of Akron. Very well done by them, as they are not only very confident, I feel, on Clubhouse with the 7-2 scoreline, but it was very stylish as well. Two players going very large with bus seats as well as CJ. But that'll be the first match for us in the North American Challenger League qualifiers. And while we don't know which match we'll get up next, we will keep you posted in chat. So we hope to see you then. Until then, I'm Intrinsic, and I've been joined by Cash on the mic with our wonderful observer, Ciano. I will get that right at some point.